What up, Schmoedown Rockers? No shades, because it's kind of getting dark. And, yeah, so. But, actually, you know what? Fuck it. As of the time of what has happened right now, I am recording this just fresh off of actually having seen the finals. Because I don't want to, talk about this before Spectacular spoils me and I gotta, because usually I freshly do it on the day I upload it. But I cannot do that without risking certain spoilers. It's not after the last time, apparently. Especially not for Spectacular. That's a big no-no. That's a big no-no. But anyways. Yeah, well, my bracket was busted, and I should have just, stuck with the team I did have actually going to the finals that actually did in the first place. Instead of I should have just stuck with the left side of the bracket, because that one barely got busted, and only Looney Bin did anything. Because my entire right side got completely fucked. Or fudged, or just, whatever. I usually wind up getting screwed over by Copa anyway. I already got screwed by YouTube years ago, so I ain't making crap off of this. But here we are. So, anyways, while I have some daylight and something to go off of. Alright, here's the deal. We had our final four, which was Shazam, Looney Bin, the family, and Who's the Boss. We had Shazam and Looney Bin first. I felt like that got canceled out a little bit. I feel like, yay, my bad, but I feel bad for Looney Bin, because it's not that I didn't just get into him. I did, and then we finally, really had a reason to, because of how things happened in the Time Machine match. Just the way it all went about, the magic in Magic Season 6, and how it just all came together like it did. And it just didn't feel that way with this one. I almost slightly understand why they did hold it back on that one, because let's face it, especially given Action Army is a huge antithesis of what's been happening, especially lately going into this, especially within this, by the point of this season, with the Civil War. And the Civil War continues that way with Who the Boss versus the family. Andrew Guy. Finally, we get that match we've been wanting, and now it only makes me more bummed that who's the loss of that one. I kind of figured with Shazam, and the way that it was pretty clear that Looney Bin kind of acted a certain particular way, or at least Video Drew acted a certain particular way that was very reminiscent of how she was in a certain previous match prior to the tournament. And that match was, prior to tournament, was them against the team I was hoping would win it all, just for the dungeon's sake. And that was Loose Cannons, and they didn't even make it past round one. Because Stacey Howard did it again. I'd have at least settled for them losing to Who's the Boss. I wouldn't have felt as bad, because at least they tried. It seemed like they tried, and it's just Zipper. You disappoint me, Zip. You're the one that disappointed me the most. I definitely cannot say that about the champ. But oh well, it worked itself out for him, because now he can focus. And it's clear after that loss, he had to focus. And having nearly lost the belt at New York, of course he's going to need to step up his game, and I expect him to. I expect him to give no quarter, as a dungeon should, even though it's going to be weird where my predictions go when I get to that point in this video. But yes, I had Shazam. I guess I decided that after Who's the Boss lost, Shazam was going all the way, and then apparently the family found a way to mess that up, apparently, and further. Oh, Patty, and it was so weird too, because like, and yeah, Patty, you gave him the thing, but and it has technically for McWeenie been a while since he's been in a 5-round match. I slightly feel bad more for McWeenie at this point. Oh yeah, and I'm sorry. Yeah, Wanna Be in the Family versus Shazam. Oh my God, I'm actually looking forward to seeing if Action Army is even going to bother to review, because that was a match that it's Action Army totally needed to react to. I don't know if they will post the time of this recording, but if they are, I'm watching it. Oh, I'm watching it. Or at least I want to see a snippet of the moments I need to see. Just to feel good about it, you know. Because I was didn't bump. But now because of what, when Shazam, I was expecting to make to finals, I had that expecting. Did I expect them to scan? I should have put them in anyway. Maybe my bracket would have been semi-secure. But, you know, because at least I would have had them, and maybe I might have been able to finally have a time where I could go see you know what. But that ain't happening, so. Well, yeah. But yeah, I wound up being Family versus Who the Boss. And that one, aside from we had a couple cutscenes too, by the way. We didn't have any at all when it came to the finals. They wanted to focus on that and then deal with Spectacular or whatever. And all we had for cutscenes during the semis. One for during the Shazam and Looney Bin one, because they finally finished the one they already did at the resort with the Kaiser Chronicle one with Kaiser and mainly Kaiser, of course. That's why they called it Kaiser Chronicles. Should have called it Dungeon Chronicles, to be honest. But given how somewhat heavily involved my boy the Smasher was, but anyways, aside from that, he probably had to hardcore study. Was that with that one? But anyways, see, this was mostly what was the first one? Oh yeah, the first one was to basically announce that Ken is officially not managing anymore, or that they weren't trying to do dual managers. So they basically made it to where Grace had signed the paper and Ken was not additional manager. And as a result of trying to fix things, our chairman, if you will, Harloff has decided through interesting banter, sorry for that, through some level of interesting banter, decided to basically announce him as coming back as a competitor within both, of course, of all the ones he's been involved in, whether it having been singles. I didn't really take much to that announcement. As far as I was concerned, it was about as much as what Emma did. That one was more funny at least with what I remember. This one was meant to be taken seriously, and I couldn't. Because besides maybe Star Wars, okay, and maybe teams, I might be a little bit like, okay. But other than that, I could give a damn less. And things just got interesting, and that's the thing, is they knew they didn't want to do a post-credit scene because something happens in the finals. And it's not who won. It's what happened after. But yet, I'm weird about this. And that's why I want to see Action Army, because Guy, they lost, and Guy announced his retirement as a Schmoedown Pro. What? So much for Who's the Boss family rematch. I mean, come on. That's the only thing about it that busts my balls the most. Now it's like, and that sucks, and that's what makes the Who's the Boss loss fucking hurt worse. Because how long are we going to have to wait to get the rematch? Just fucking suck my balls, Guy, for that. I'm sorry, to Mama Guy. He will not have to do that. He won't have to do that. I'm sorry if it was too much. If you're somehow watching this, I apologize. I apologize so much. But I feel even more bitter because it's now put everyone who's had to go all Team Trader in a very all Team Trader on Ben Bateman in a particular position where they have to go Team Bateman and go against their normal laurels and feel awful that the family had beat Who's the Boss just as much as I do, because they lost only for Guy to retire. I confused fully as to why, and it left everyone quiet, and the way it was awkward too. The way it happened was just so, and it was just because it was weird because he was a heel. Yet, how long did he have to wait? How long did like this was more shocking? I don't know what was. I think Merle's was more shocking after his loss, but it's to Harloff. That one time he announced his retirement before he came back, but eventually Guy's gonna come back. And it does make me wonder if it does lead to... Now everyone who's... I feel bad for Action Army. This cuts, like, Guy didn't realize... I'm guessing he's just... Maybe he's retired to the extent of saying it that way to make it seem more legitimate in terms of him just basically just saying he's retired, but I think he's just going to retire from being on a team right now. Because, once again, the last time when with Action, that it didn't work itself out for him because they lost above the line, and that's what sucks even more. It's like the second time he's been to the finals and never won it for Guy, and I guess it butthurts him, but him to announce and be serious and deadpan, I think he's fucking with us too. No. It's bullshit. It was too... But yet at the same time, was he serious? Like, that's what I want to know. Which is why I can't wait to see when he finally decides to release when the Action guys do the Action reaction to see if he was being serious. I gotta know. I don't know. That's what baffles me. I mean, the way the match went, by the way, in the finals, with this one, I mean, they were both, the semifinals had somewhat neck and neck, but you could kind of tell things weren't exactly going like the moment that 2-point steal happened, you were slightly worried for Who's the Boss a little bit. But they were able to get well enough to where it was back and forth until that. And it sucks, because it makes me wonder if they would have beaten Who's the Boss after that. And if he still was going to make that retirement. And this just means Ben is the only thing left of Action right now, technically. Aside from, I guess, Brand and Hannah? I guess? And I guess kind of Ginny. But anyway... and I guess our boy Smets, to an extent, is kind of the antithesis of what is left of part of the Action Army, and I guess maybe Oyama, and kind of mostly. Anyway, even though he's technically part of Dungeon anyway, so it works itself out. Anyways, so I almost, because of this, normally we don't go against Dungeon at this point, and though you've seen how that turned out, but I know I'm not gonna I will not be, as long as the main event becomes, to me personally at this point, because Shazama's won, they at least have a chance at a belt secured, and there's still the chance that Bibbs has a number one contendership in his back pocket. He still has yet to use, and he's already had this great a year, which means once all he has to, and I think he's more worried about winning the teams. I think more so because he's never won a team's belt. He came so close earlier this year and lost to Shire Wolves. And also lost to Dan Murrell to get the title back, but he already won the title beating won the title, though he lost it to Roca, and poor Roca has still yet to, because of Ethan Whirlwind in last year's Spectacular, has yet to defend the damn belt. And that's the thing he needs to do. Not to mention, it's still going to be an interesting thing here, because Bibbs, in terms of predictions, we're going to start off with Spectacular. I mean, when it comes to the round, it was already kind of figured Shazam had won it, the way things were going. And luckily for them, they didn't bet it too many. They didn't bet too many points in the round 3, because they didn't. Though they had a steal, which put them even up higher, and then had a multiple choice or so. But they wound up eventually. It was still, they were 4 above them. Or they wound up even further ahead, I think, than expected. Like, they were super far ahead of them by 8, and if not for betting 3 and actually knowing the answer pretty correctly, because they had to risk it all, I guess, family, which worked in their favor. It allowed them to get it further ahead than they needed to at least make sure they went to round 4, and Bibbs and them weren't as worried. They just needed 1 point, and maybe because they wanted to keep it interesting, I guess, they could have bet all the way too, and they wouldn't have made it in the... And eventually, they did well in the... They did set... I mean, aside from, like, poor McWeeny missing one thing, apparently Guy did the one... Getting the final one saved them enough to allow them to get to round 5. And they were able to at least... And Guy was able to at least get the 2-pointer. And McWeeny couldn't pull the 3, even though you have 3... You have GTE rules. I don't know why you didn't bother. You should have, McWeeny. That way, at least it would have been, which would have made it even more interesting. They probably would have had to answer the 5, given what happened with, which was surprising. It was just more the way it was worded, which was weird. They should have, which is weird, because the way they said incorrect. It's like, wait, what? No, he said it right. He said it, but they said no. Get to the Greek. He thought he said, not get him to the Greek. It's get him to the Greek, not get to the Greek, which I didn't think he pronounced it that way. To be honest, that's why I was confused. I thought he was making it... It almost made me confused to think, wait, the answer is actually for Instant Mercy can't be right. That was 2007. You know? I was just... But I was just super surprised by this. And... by what happened here. And overall, my predictions... I was just, and it just led to Bibbs eventually getting the answer that with the 3-pointer to pretty much finally end it. Just putting the family finally out of their damn misery. For a moment, we thought we were going to have what happened with Corruption nearly happened with Corruption against Shire Wolves and that throwdown. But yeah, that retirement. Oh my, I'm speechless, but I'm not... I don't know. I think it's... I mean, I don't feel a massive pit in my stomach, because he never left the heelish thing, especially coming off of how heel he was in the last match. And then he does this, and he's quiet and does that. It's like... I do feel like the Action Army that are definitely more invested and have been more invested with them, they have now now they have to go into Spectacular and realize they have no choice. They have to root for Ben. He's all Action Army they got right now at Spectacular. So I kind of, for that reason, I just hope that Action Army doesn't decide all of a sudden to just say done with Schmoedown. I don't want that. It's going to baffle them, because now they have no choice but to say Team Bateman for sure, because that's all they've got. Unless Hannah can, fill the void, I guess. Barely. Right now, as far as this season, right now they have no choice but to vote for him, because he's not in it. And it kind of does suck. You beat him and you not only don't win it, but you throw that announcement out. It's like, Jesus. I feel bad for the rest of Action Army, and especially those more invested, who really wanted this for Guy. They're going to be more bummed when you announce something like that. I feel like it was just out of the short whim, but that or he's just going to be short-lived retirement, and he'll come back. I think I'm wondering if through doing this, he's going to somehow come back and he'll come across more as a face this way. Or something. And which now it's even more of a bummer because everyone who was excited to potentially see Team Action get back together, it's not going to happen. Not even Harloff saw this coming. Guy once, second time surprised, first he surprised everyone by beating Dan Murrell, which no one saw coming. And then surprised Harloff by announcing his retirement when he had plenty of plans probably for him in the future. And I don't understand it. Yeah, but at the same time, no, dude, you can. You can, technically. I might not have been wanting you to, and I would have liked Roka to finally have it, but... And it does suck, but then it makes no sense for that to happen. They had that great run, and then... It makes me wonder if there should be a grudge match between them again. We finally did at least we did get that match, but it didn't really turn out the way I would have liked, honestly. I would have liked a more tight match because it didn't feel like it was. And it just didn't feel right the way it had to end. I wanted it to be to where the family, it was down to the wire, the last question, and the last question. Not technically their 5-pointer penultimate. I'm more frustrated about this than anything. I don't know what I'm going to be, honestly, having this retirement happen is more bittersweet. And it's going to allow me out more if both... Star Wars match, Grace Kelly, is that what her name is, I think? Or Kelly something. I hate doing this. Kelly Grant or something. I feel bad because she's talking around kind of local-ish, or at least my states, or Midwestern. Anyway, her and Alex Damon, or current Star Wars champ, and then I'd love for her to be the first female Star Wars champion, but I can see Damon pulling the win. She's barely got through it, but she has the potential to pull it off, and Damon could be completely off his game. And maybe Ken might get the title back, but it still opens up the possibility that he couldn't beat Damon, and he's going to have to beat Damon to prove it while holding the title. But even with that being said, that all depends on if since Ken's coming back. But I don't know. As a competitor, more so in that league, but I don't know about that either. As far as if they want a good Star Wars competitor, they're going to have to draft him, but he's going to be probably on the lower end because of how he's been with teams and sort of okay with when it came to Nerds Watch, but that's it. In terms of teams, But I'm so bummed, man. That I just feel bad for the rest of Action Army. I'm a corporal, but for all those who are a higher tier and have even more investment than I did with Action, I feel bad for you guys having to have seen that and then realize they're not going to be there, and you have no choice but to essentially vote for who you believe was the traitor. And then I feel like this was him doing this. I feel as if you don't think Guy's the traitor now, here you go. But, or at least I could see some people in Action Army deciding to pull that off because they forced him to vote for the so-called traitor. Now they have no choice but to cuddle up and be nice to Ben, because he might be the only one left that's going to get them the belt. They're going to wish they had voted for who's the boss after having seen it. And it bums me, man. I don't want to have to say this stuff, but it bums me. And I hope I don't get ill wishes on my dungeon, most especially when it comes to Smetsa Kalinowski. That one Smets, come on! I'm getting that shirt ready, but you better have that belt. Come on! Come on! Because with the way Action Army's going right now, they're going to have to live vicariously through you at this point. Through the dungeon. And they're all gonna have to come in there, and hopefully some people in corruption come in, because we really are, as far as I'm concerned, that close. So I may have to do some things for the dungeon page before Smith's, because he's studying. I hope I didn't screw him up, or else I'm gonna feel worse on myself and put the weight on myself. Because there were a couple times I threw some things out when he decided to, and he had to, and he told me to get the shirt ready, and that's what I'm going to do. I wish I could be there to see it happen too. I wish I could also be there to see finally Ben's finally possibly getting his dreams come true, and finally getting that belt. Finally winning a belt, being no longer a belt virgin. Oyama still has something to prove a little bit too, because there's still people who hate him right now in the same way the people used to be about the Patriots when it came to the team's titles. Right now, they didn't really hate Merle though, which is weird. They were already on board with him immediately, because he was never a heel to begin with anyway. So that's why this one is going to be more interesting. He beat Merle, and I understand him being cocky about it, you know, and he has more to prove because of the way the last live event went over for him. He managed to win, but but I could see some people giving it the asterisk feel. But I hope things work out for him, man. I really do. I hope I'll at least feel better knowing. I also feel bad for Ben, because once again, so close and yet so far. And if he all of a sudden decides to announce his retirement, then, well, Harloff's fucked next season, because you lost a big chunk of your audience with the Action Army. If Ben even goes there. Wow! Then I'm going to be pissed. But I'm also... I don't believe that's happened depending on when it's announced. So it just makes me wonder. Did Guy decide to be... Is he secret? Maybe. I might be Brienne. I'm thinking... he probably already hinted and gave it away in a Sin episode that it might be Thad Williams. Wouldn't be surprised if it is at that point. I'd be happier with Brienne. I'd be even more surprised if somehow Guy said, "No, I'm back, bitches, but I'm going to make sure my team annihilates." Which is going to really fuck a lot of people up with the family and shit, but they'd be all... I mean, they'll feel bad for the family, but then again, he might actually bring Drew McWhinney back on and find him a better partner. And give the Burnett the middle finger. That'd be fun. Ooh. But because he does know how to play the game, and maybe he would be an interesting manager. I wouldn't think of him as a manager, but that'd be interesting. He's because he's a good enough mouthpiece to pull it off. It's really tough to say. It could be Thad. More than likely, okay, sure. But who else could possibly be that 10th manager? That's another thing. I also am wondering who's gonna... Okay, there's that, the Star Wars, the Intergeekdom, the team's belt. Like I think I already said, I'm hoping for Founding Fathers to probably pull off the win. But I could see the momentum going in Shazam's favor a little bit. But I do hope they do, because I want to, mostly for the kid, and I guess Bibbs to kind of pull it off. But they still have I wouldn't feel as bad, because especially Founding Fathers, because now Roka is, and it's not like Bibbs doesn't have an idea of having in his back pocket to help him and the kid, you know, get a chance at Shazam again, depending on how the draft goes. Most likely, hopefully, Fife probably gets them, because, you know, Fife and Bibbs actually have gone over well together. But other than that, I'd say probably it's tough to say with the draft right now. There's going to be a lot of build-up with Sen, depending on how much it goes over once Spectacular's finally done. Dunzo, for sure. I wish I could have been there for that, too. Also, I still... Yeah, the team's belts, the Intergeekdom, the Star Wars, then the number one... And then the finals match for the singles belt. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all we're going to get. We're going to get, like, 5 matches of 5-round that are all going to be 5 rounds. So it's going to be long for a lot of people, but I think it's going to be a lot of investing into it. Whew. It's going to be like 5 hours probably. maybe 4, depending on how the matches go. But anyways, or how are they going to cut promos? And I think the only way we'll find out how those promos are going to get cut is once Spectacular ends the way it is. Overall, my bets are, I understand if Bibbs does get it, but I'm hoping for Bateman at this point, given the circumstances of what has happened leading up to this point. Most likely Damon will probably retain, but I wouldn't be against it if Kelly wins it and we finally get the first woman to hold the Star Wars belt. That'd be cool. I'm going for Smasher. Please, for the love of God, Smasher, do it. Founding Fathers retaining. Won't be as upset if Shazam wins, I guess, but I still feel like it's going to suck even more, especially given the hearing about the bronchitis this earlier on Sin, having watched that. That's not going to go over well, and it's going to slight asterisk Shazam, and because Roka wasn't 100%. But I want him to be at that match. It seems stupid for them to cancel that match. It really does. I mean, they could, but it'd be stupid to not have the team's match. To not have all belts there. And I know Roka's going to try. And he definitely took advice from Winston on that one. So we'll see how it goes, given his bronchitis or whatever on Roka's end. But hopefully Merle still brings it too. I'm hoping that it doesn't affect him here, so he can retain. But anyways, and then of course, Bateman having come from the finals and hopefully being the first person to actually come off a win at a Spectacular, doing another Spectacular match and winning it again. Will I be upset? Not really, because at least Oyama gets to prove, and that's all the naysayers this time around in a similar way to what happened with Who's the Most, but that sucks on Ben's end. Because now he has to win this, because he's the only one representing Action Army right now. He has to win this. No one's will be surprised if Bibbs takes it, but Ben needs to. Ben needs it more. He's thirstier compared to Bibbs right now. And he has more reason to, because Bibbs, all he has to worry about after that match is play for the teams. He's still got another belt to secure. He already got secured a chance for a belt. And it's not like he has a number 1 contendership still back in his pocket from last year's free-for-all. So, as far as I'm concerned, those are my predictions. And hopefully the one I want to be right is still going to be right. And I'll be happy nonetheless if my other ones aren't, I guess. I'll be bitter for Action Army when he doesn't win the finals. But that's it. What did you guys think? Leave a comment below. Let me know. As always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. If you smell what the movie trivia Schmoedown, Schmoedown Entertainment Network, Schmoedown Spectacular, and Schmoedown Rocks is cooking.